Yeah, watch it. Got the verse on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not weekend those that spaghetti them O's. I'm so ready, how to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just still decoys. Like
So, and it transformed from fiction into realism, even though it is a work of fiction.
For that green like the for brick. No, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check. Check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down.
Most of the time, before everything starts, the second book kind of gets into the very beginning of it, and then the third book kind of ends up the first phase of what happens.
My target audience when I wrote it in my head was basically teenage girls that had read Twilight and were sorry that it was over.
From this reason. And they are animals from beings arsenic.
But you know, you're the bus driver, right? You know, yeah, there he is. You know, I was like, that's cool. That's like it was made for it.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2.
You're more than a pretty face, girl with a curvy shape. You're full of substance, you're not shallow at all. For hours we can sit and talk, yeah. Just about anything, from A to Z. It's crazy how you relate to me. Oh, girl, with you, I can always be myself. It's something that I've never felt. What's not to love about you? Every day I find more reasons to. Cause you're inner beauty that's always shining through. What's not to love about you? I love how you don't walk around with the all about me attitude.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome to another great show of APN. Yes, we have a lot of great things actually in store for you today. We have a returning author. She'll be on the second half by the name of Azerline Wilson. And one of the things about her, since the last time she was here on the show, she has a commercial out, which is the I could say it's statewide for the Michigan State in the different zones now. So, which is yes, that's awesome. You know, so she's been channeling around, so that's beautiful. Her book, we are now calling it Azerline Wilson Books. Azerline Wilson Books, because the fact that she has 5 books now, which we'll be talking about, okay, coming up on the second half. And we have another guest, a special guest, that's going to be on this first half. Her name is Emilie Russell. She has a children's book. Matter of fact, she's a children's book novelist. And she also has a story to tell of her own, but it's really awesome. Okay. And her first book, her new release, is the Rainbow Mist. No, wait a minute. That was my favorite too. The Rainbow Mist. Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. Thank you. Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. You know what? I fell out when she first introduced that title. I'm sorry, I get a little bugged down on it. But actually, just the title itself, Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. That is awesome. Just the title, but the book is dynamic. It has a kind of a uniform or thematic play, theatrical within the. You know what? Actually, I like it. I like this book. The way it came out, it's dynamic. It has a soft subtleness, but it tells a story, a story about the princess and the praying mantis and the moth. And it was interesting. After a while, I had to look at it again and again and again. I read it over and over and over because each time I read it, I keep getting something different, but it seemed like I'm still in that same tunnel or same path. Every time I read it, I get a little bit of something else, and it's like, oh, what she really means here, what she means here. But we're going to get into that because she is going to be our first guest. So, anyway, without further delay, like I say, we're going to get this party started, and we are going to begin in about, let's say, what do you think we should begin in? Everybody know? Let's begin right now. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the verse on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Who I am to you, what you preserve for me, what I provide for you, the respect you show, the love you feed, forever beautiful, and what's bringing out the best in me. Compliment to my existence, my little cufflink, and I love that, what you asking me, I do it, you say I do it well, does that, you mean, how was that, life was moving fast, I checked in, but I still fell back, now it's much deeper, I dug that. Plus what equals success, don't let it go in vain. I remain sheltered from the rain, you're warm from the cold, you're a joy for the summer, and my peace for the fall. The thought of us, comforts nights, so when I'm weak, help me to stand tall, because mama sold to me to never be a womanizer, how to be a gentleman, but you can show me how you wanna be loved, how you wanna be held, kissed and touched. I'm the man that you want and everything that you need. No matter how right it feels, remember this about me.
You don't have to worry, don't be afraid. I ain't gonna hurt you, baby. I just wanna show you how I do. I don't really care about who's watching, more about what people say, yeah. 'Cause can't nobody do you like I do. I'll let you stay for the night, then we can do what you like. No need to put up a fight, yeah. And you don't have to worry, don't be afraid. I ain't gonna hurt you, baby. I just wanna show you how I do.
Folks, the destination of this coach is Hazard, Kentucky. We're due there at 5:15. Make stops at Stanton, Campton, and Jackson, Kentucky. For your convenience, there's a restroom located in the rear of the coach.
Colors in the sky. Colors in the sky.
I saw the sunrise of 1,000 eyes. I saw the melting colors in the sky.
Yes. Welcome back. You know, I was beginning to wonder about when we were going to start. I'm like, man, we got all this stuff we got it going on. But anyway, nevertheless, guess what? I'm going to introduce to you a dynamic author who written a children's book, Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. Come on. Oh, yeah. Yes. Thank you. Glad to have you on board. You know what? Come have a seat. Bring your seat. Okay, yes. Okay. You know what? We're here now, and I've got a few questions for you. But first of all, how are you? How are you
I'm good. I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be on the show with you. What a great opportunity to bring out Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist.
Yes, I don't know why I keep getting stuck on that. It says Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. That is dynamic, you know. I probably will have to, I'll go through these questions, but I do have to ask you this. Where on earth did you come up with that title? That is so unique.
Well, when my niece was little, she used to dance around and wisp and turn and dance. And she always had one of those little batons. Mm-hmm. And with the glitter, the streamers on them, and that was how the story was inspired. And the two other characters, Praying Mantis and Lunamoth. Praying Mantis is my nephew. He was always more of a logical, very, maybe we shouldn't do this, very more structured. And then my son was more vivacious, always swirling around and wanting to do something wild. So he's the moth who's always saying, come on, let's go do something. And that's how I came up with the characters.
Wow. Because that Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. I don't know how I kept getting stuck on it. It's beautiful. It's very unique. I mean, that's like what, one of a kind. There is no duplicate of that. Okay. And I understand that your other titles got unique names to them too, which that I'm looking forward to have you return back on the show again. But let's go here. Like one of the things is, because of I know you have more than just one book coming out, and then you have this new release, but how long have you been writing?
I've been writing poems and things since I was probably in 2nd grade. I felt like I needed to always have the outlet, a separate outlet, like a journal. I always did it in journal form. But honestly, through school, I was considered to be more of a fragment writer. I did not excel with, typical, the grammatical, keeping it extremely structured. I was more of a free flow idea. So I actually thought I was just a terrible writer. I didn't think I would ever publish. I just did it for my own need, my own release of emotion or whatever, creative outlet. Did that answer that, or?
Actually, you did. Wow, you that was pretty deep. That was pretty deep. You actually because it's like basically because what you've been through, you needed an external release, and your release was through writing, creative writing.
That was one of them, right?
And one of your starts was poetry.
Right.
Okay, you went from poetry to, if I'm getting this right, you went from poetry into the children's book. Do your poetry have did your poetry actually started leading you towards children's books?
I think so, and it was something my mother always said I should do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that at first. I felt like I had to have it very involved, like the book had to be really long. I always made it more complicated than it was. And then I just started doing them more short, like I did with Wispy Princess. I started it out as a short story, just a very short story of the ideas of what I was wanting for that story. So.
Okay. Did you ever think years ago that you'd be publishing by now, or what and why?
I would think about it, but it was either the confidence level again would get in the way, or just the monetary. How was I going to do it? Where? And then I met you, and you made it possible. You did. ASA made it possible. They made it possible with how they set it up, and you looked at my work and were willing to take me on board.
Oh, thank you. You threw me in there. Yeah, okay. That's okay. Look, everybody does it. Even authors from other publishing houses, they, because I look at their work, I still do that. I still do that. Even if they publish from other publishing houses, like I have a few from the Simon & Schuster. I have a few that, because they also got into the Archway Publishing thing, which is, that's Simon & Schuster's ordeal there with them and author solutions, but they still call up and or come over and they ask about their books and stuff like that. And it's an honor that, throw me under the bus. How do I answer that? I mean, it's a positive way, or I shouldn't even use that term, throw me under the bus, because, thank you. How about that? I just shut up and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. What other creative talents do you have?
I love music. I've always loved music. That was something else I had early on. I needed the music in my life, so music's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Something I do with my husband. We're a little not practicing like we were, but music's always been a big part of my life. I love to sew, I love to paint. I just always have to have some kind of creative outlet. That's what I've always been drawn to. You're not going to get me to solve a calculus equation or not even a geometry one. I was just completely geared more towards creative outlet, expression.
But you do sing. You and your husband, you sing and play instruments. Your husband plays instruments. He's out here in the audience as well. So hey John, how you doing? Yes, you've been on because you showed me CD, which was just off the chain. And I said, oh my gosh, incredible. Mm-hmm. And this is something you do on the side, just for your own creativity, your own fun, your enjoyment.
Right.
Wow, talented. But okay, you know, Wispy Princess. I'm gonna get to that on Wispy Princess. I'm gonna say just what I want to share is that. Do you plan on writing any other books other than Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist?
Yes, we've got them kind of lined up, but they're still going through editing. Did you want me to share those, or do you want to wait?
Wow.
Or share some of them, or do you want to wait?
You know what? Actually, if you want to share, how many do you have now? I mean,
I think it's five or six?
Five
Well,
5 or 6 books already in the making. I mean, they're done. They're going through the editing process.
About 5.
5 books. That's incredible. 5 books.
I have Cheese Muffin Puppets.
Oh, well, you want to give that one? That is another unique name.
Cheese Muffin Puppets.
Cheese Muffin Puppets.
And I've got, what else do we have lined up?
No, let's leave it right there.
You want to wait there?
Keep
Let's
the
wait there.
suspense.
Okay.
Yes, because that, you know, you got Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist, and you have Cheese Muffin Puppets. Cheese Muffin Puppets. It's awesome. You know, that's another children's book, isn't it? Yes, but Cheese Muffin Puppets, these titles, the titles that you come up with, it's insane. I mean, these titles these you know, jaw-dropping, you know, you would say eye-catching, but just hearing the, you know, Cheese Muffin Puppets, you're like, what? And it automatically sticks to you. Wispy Princess and a Rainbow Mist. Who'd have thought of that? You know, but nevertheless, okay, let's get to Wispy Princess, because that is awesome. The titles you have, they're awesome. I don't want you to continue with the other ones, because we want those to be a surprise.
Let's stay focused on Wispy Princess.
Yes. So Wispy Princess. Tell us a little bit about Wispy Princess.
Wispy Princess was the inspiration was from my son and my niece and my nephew. And then through the years it kind of evolved, and it became, I guess how it is really is, it's not so far off the line of some where there's this one thing in the book that they can do anything else, but if they go into that rainbow mist, they don't know what might happen. So it's kind of on the same order to me as, I don't know, some of those other stories where they're not supposed to go to a certain point and then they do, you know, and then something they end up in another world or something. But I wanted it to be where also I had the avenue to talk about my creator and do it in a very open, very almost flamboyant. I mean, you know, there's big, huge trees, and they go up and they see through their journey, and
yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop and Michael. Wow. Yeah.
Love at first sight. Do you believe in meeting your soulmate on sight? How about Eskimo kisses in the midst of a blizzard? What about us having a future? Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in meeting your soulmate on sight? How about Eskimo kisses in the midst of a blizzard? What about us having a future?
Welcome back. Okay, now getting back to what that's because I was talking about the path. You know, it's like a tunnel. It's like going through a dark tunnel, and all of a sudden things start to illuminate on every side before you get to the end of the tunnel. Okay, it's a line in the tunnel, but no, actually it starts illuminating. You start seeing certain things, and that's what I was getting at, because I was like, that is interesting. It is flamboyant. It's a subtle way, but it is direct and it's from the heart. Okay. You mentioned the creator, and which was admirable. It's a, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I've found lately, since after that, just to give your book credibility, There's other authors that I've talked with that will soon be coming on the set, in the near future. Okay, and I mean they're from cross states, and they have created children books with. I'm gonna share one. This one was about Santa Claus and how Santa, why did he come on Jesus' birthday? Which her name is Kimberly, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Books like hers, yours, and there's a few others that I'm starting to see more and more frequent. That's actually it's progressing in that way. Coming up, we have a guest will be coming up pretty soon. Just to show you, again, I'm giving you credibility about your book because there's a heroin situation that's been going around. It's not just for here in Monroe, but for a lot of other areas. Okay, and what happened was he created the fantasy tree, and it's geared towards. It's not just children, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right or not, but actually, the books that whatever's happening, it is happening where it's grabbing the adults, and the adults are now, and it's not penalizing, okay, but they have opened up to a reality check for their children, okay, a reality check, and the only way to do that is to take what we've been through or have had experience as adults, and to transform it into a children's book, but still have an adult feature. In other words, like a child being 6 or 7 years old, to almost share with them like you would share with a 14-year-old. But now, if you notice on TV, children has been at 6 or maybe 4 or 5 years old, going to the stores on their own, going to the stores. The other day, there's a child at 6 years old who's raising 4, not 1 or 2, but 4 little siblings. And I'm like, this is insane. And if you go on Facebook or online anywhere or on YouTube, you see little kids, they're dancing like grown-ups, doing, that hoochie dance and all that stuff, And then and then you wonder what's going on. And then you have these other ones, I don't know what they remember. They say, because I'm an old man, they have, babies making babies? Mm-hmm. And then you have babies making babies making babies. It has gotten to past, 5 or 6 generations? And these little kids are so intelligent. They've got their own little cell phones. Like, what you doing with a cell phone? Hey, I gotta call my peeps. And I'm wondering what These are the kids that are smart enough to understand in a certain way. So, or say this, they're following a path, that's what I'm getting to. They're following a path. And in that tunnel, there's a bunch of lost children in that tunnel, a bunch of lost children. What I'm saying is your book is helping,
and that's what I was
lighting up in the tunnel. Don't let these kids go down a tunnel.
What I was wanting to say, because I said flamboyant, but the main objective of that story is that every single child, no matter where they come from, is special in the sight of God.
Yes.
And they can reach out to somebody for help. Yes. There's somebody that they can find that they can get help that they need. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If they're in a situation that is harming or hurting them, or they don't feel whatever, that there are opportunities for them to reach out.
You said it right. That's what's missing. If everybody heard that was missing. Help. They can do everything else but get help. How do we leave that out the equation? They could do everything else but get help, because if they get in a situation like when they hang with their mother's boyfriend's a drug dealer and the kids all he's little and he's acting like he's one of them, and he get out there and get himself in a trick box. He don't know what to do. He's a baby, a little kid. They do not know how to get help because there's a part of their understanding. Right. About help, it's what's missing. Isn't that something? They're learning everything else but how to get help. And actually, you know what? Actually, bravo, you're right. Thank you. You're right. It's the help is what's missing. And the parents, like yourself, is reaching out, and those also as well, but you're reaching out, and I love it that you're using the Creator, because that way there's a foundation, even with, the God Bless America, of course, is reaching out, to let them know that, hey, God still exists. The Creator still exists, and you're trying to open up to let them know. And at the same time, as you're letting them know, as what I call a foundation, is to say, your do's and don'ts. What do you not do? What you do and what you do you not. How you say it? What you do and what you do not do. Woo!
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Why should our kids eat healthy? That's a good question. What happens when they don't eat healthy? Well, eating unhealthy leads to an unhealthy life. What can it lead to, you may ask? It can lead to childhood obesity, which leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, and also heart problems. It also can lead to our kids taking medicines at an early age and also extended hospital stays. How can we bring awareness to our kids about childhood obesity? How can we bring awareness to our parents about childhood obesity? Bringing awareness to our kids and their families about childhood obesity helps the whole family. Everyone is healthy and everyone is happy. I think I might have a solution. Follow me and let's see.
You know what? I have enough time for maybe a couple more questions here before we go to the second half. What would you tell young striving artists if you could?
To find a group, and if a support group or a creative group, somewhere where they can feel like that those gifts are lifted up, no matter how they do the gift. Are they gonna wrap it? Are they gonna, well, how are they gonna do it? But that's still their creative talent. So to find that group where they can feel that support to create and not expect too much, but hope for the best, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So start out early and find a group to get that confidence, to keep that security and believing that what they do is good. And just keep chipping away at it. Keep chipping away at it until they maybe get it discovered and maybe not. You know, sometimes it's just something that we do for the community or hand out to friends and family.
And just one more. What are your hope and dreams for the immediate future and far off future? Or just for the immediate future?
Immediate future,
Yes.
to finish up my books and get those going.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, I'm glad to have you on the show.
It was great to come on the
Emilie
show.
Russell, people. Emilie Russell. And Wispy Princess and the Rainbow Mist. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes. We have another dynamic author, a novelist, romance novelist, and her name is Azerline Wilson, which is Azerline Wilson Books. But you know what? Let's go ahead and bring her up. Bring her up. Yes. How you doing? Go ahead and say hello. Hi. There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm going to turn it off. I think it's better for you. Yes. Azerline Wilson. Oh my goodness. Yes. Long time.
Yeah, actually, the last time I was here, I have only had one book. And now I have a total of 5. I have a series now.
5 books.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes.
5 books.
Right.
5 books, but they're a series. But we're going to get into, what, I'm going to start getting into the questions because I can see, we have a lot to talk about.
Right.
What I am going to do is, let's see. I had your questions. It's funny. I have your question. Oh, okay. Now I'm filming looking for your questions, but I do have it because what's funny is that I wouldn't even need this after thinking about my gosh, it's history.
Right.
History.
Yeah.
We got history here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're definitely a pillar.
Right.
Okay. I feel kind of crazy to ask you this, but I will. Mm-hmm. It's not just how did you come to writing. It's how did you come to continue writing?
Actually, you were big. You were involved in that process. Actually, after writing my first novel, and when people have read it, and I thought it was finished. I thought it was complete. And so many people were asking me, was it going to be a sequel to it? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it, and when I was thinking about it, I said, well, I don't know if I have anything else to say. But actually, I did. I made the second one, and it's interesting, very interesting. And then from that, it springboarded into, actually, when I was working on the first novel, I was working on a second one at the same time, and it was called Twist of Fate. That's where you came in, and you inspired me to, since I made the second one, to just go ahead and make a series. And so Twist of Fate, I took some of the characters in there, and I switched some of the characters around, and it worked out perfectly, and went right along with the story.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop and Michael. Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. I want to go back to this about how did you come to writing? But no, I don't want to say how did you come to writing. How did you continue writing?
Okay, I continue writing my books. Well, like I explained before, after the first one came out, and so many people were asking me about a sequel, and then so I didn't think that I could come up with a part 2 to that because I thought it was finished, but I did. I came up with part 2, and actually the third book, which is the Richard Allison story. Actually, I was writing the third book at the same time I wrote the first one.
Really?
Yes, and so actually the third book was just about finished when the second one was finished. So, because the inspiration was behind the third book was actually my daughter, because she wanted to read the first book, and it's she couldn't read that book. She was a little bit too young to read that one. Yeah, so I told her, I said, well, I will write a book that you can read. And that's how the Richard Allison story came about. And I just bought Richard out of the first book. I wanted to keep the characters going.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, but I know I'm stepping off from here. The questions, because what gets me is that you've been writing for years now.
Yes.
Years you're writing. There are many novels, but they got a point. There's something about those books. They just keep you going, going. And they are they're one of the books that like in your commercial that you be able to carry with you on the bus and stuff like that. And you get caught up in it, man or woman. You get caught up in it.
Yes, they are. It's like the first of all, the books they're thin. It's not a real thick, big book. That's why you could just pick it up and just read it maybe in a couple of hours. But it's a good book because I get right to the point in these books. So actually, it is so interesting. You can really get into them because it's so descriptive in the books, and
but you create a world.
Yes,
I mean a society, a community.
Right. It's like the characters actually come alive.
Yes.
And you could actually picture yourself. And that's why I wanted the readers to get out of the books. I want them to, it's just an escape. Escape all the pressures of life and all the stress, and to get into this little world that I've created, and I could bring about more and more characters, and it's very interesting. And the more I write, and then different characters develop, and you could really feel for these characters and really get into their lives, and for a moment you could just escape all the stress that you have going on in your life, and all the different pressures. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, watch it. Got the verse on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Wow, you said it all in one.
Yeah.
The thing about it is when you start off one book, it was always in you. It was always in you, and
yes,
it
and
just
you had that. You saw that where I didn't actually, because I never thought that I can write a big book. I never did. And you saw that in me before I even seen it in myself.
Well, putting all your mini novels together, that's a thick book.
Right,
but
yes,
that's because you had the world was already there in that first one.
Right.
You already had your community, your society, and you mean it just kept growing and growing, and looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh. it became a series.
Yes,
a series.
It is, and it is so interesting, especially book number 4 is called Pretense. And actually, I've had a couple people read these books. Avid readers, they're very avid readers. They read a lot, and they come up to me and they tell me how much they enjoy my books, and they don't want to put them down. It's like when they get to the end of the book, they're flipping the pages trying to look for more. And book 4, Pretense, actually it was inspired by Freddy Krueger.
What?
Yes. Now, actually, a lot of people will say, well, how is it that you were inspired to write a romantic novel from Freddy Krueger? But
wait a minute, this is Pretense?
Yes, it's book number 4.
Well, let me get this right. Let me get this right. Okay. We're talking about a romance novel, right? I mean, a romance mini. It's a mini novel soap opera series,
right?
But you threw Freddy Krueger in the midst of it somehow.
Well, he was the inspiration behind it. Now, mind you, it's still
no, that's good.
It's romance, but he was my inspiration behind that book.
Can you explain that? Because that is creative. I mean, your books are dynamic. There's no doubt about that. You've got the mystery, you've got the romance, you've got the betrayal, you've got the love in it. These thrillers, you've got the suspense, you got murder in it. You got all types of stuff that each person, that's why I said the men as guys, we can actually grab or hold on to a book and read it.
I've had several men
and
read
not
the
feel
book
feminine,
and enjoy it.
You know what I mean?
They enjoyed the book too. They really did, because it has something for everybody. Actually, I created, I was thinking about the book, and I came up with a poem, but I wasn't intending for it to be a poem. I was just thinking about everything that the book had in it. And it says, lives are affected, romances in the air, dramas around the corner, and mystery is there. Love can fill anyone's heart, but murder makes it bleed. Action keeps you on your toes, and suspense makes you flee. And I was just thinking about everything that's in the book. And that's what it entails. The book has everything, a little bit of something for everybody, whether you like suspense, murder, action, drama, romance, everything is in the book. And it's this world that I created, and it's a world that you can step into, and it's great. And I call it a mini novel soap opera series because it has everything that a soap opera would have, but it has no cliffhangers. No cliffhangers. You don't have to wait until the next day. You don't have to wait until the weekend, the next week. You can buy all of these books, the whole collection, and you could read it at will. You could read it whenever you want.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. Actually, that's why everybody wants to know, all your readers, your fans, everybody want to know, what's Azerline's next book? That's what's Azerline Wilson, Azerline Wilson Books.
Right.
There are no cliffhangers. I mean, it's right there. But it's like, man, we got to hit. What's the next one?
Right.
So,
but you don't have to wait.
You tied everybody in together without a cliffhanger, but technically, you drawed us as a cliffhanger to you.
Right.
We're waiting for you to put out another book.
Oh, and it's coming. It's coming too. I have, so actually the kids that are in the first five, not in the first 5 books, the kids actually grow up and their lives are very interesting. So I call it TGN 1 and TGN 2, the next generation.
But there's the ones that with the parents, they don't really know how their parents are connected.
Well,
so you left a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in these books.
Well,
it's deep.
The parents are going to come into play because a little bit, because those are the children. Those are their kids. So you have to, in order to, follow TGN 1 and 2, then you will have to know who everybody is. So you will already had to get 1 through 5, and everything ties in together. Everything ties in together. It's this fantastic world, and it is so interesting. And I'm just not saying that because I'm the author, I wrote the book, but that's not the reason why I'm saying. I had very good feedback, yes. And it was interesting from people who read a lot too, and that that's what made me feel good. That's the I really love that. I really enjoy hearing feedback because I want people to read my books and to get the same enjoyment out of reading my books that I did writing them. And actually, because when I wrote these books, it's interesting because I wrote these books and a lot of things that I had in my head that I wanted to write down. And when I was writing, something else came out on the paper. And it was getting so good to me, and I just kept writing it. I said, oh, this is good. So, yeah, I just want to keep writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
You have branded your own identity, your own name. When they say Azerline Wilson, automatically, yes, she got another book out? Yes, let's grab it. Don't even care because, what the title is. Because it was like each book, a mini novel series that's so powerful that gets you to start fantasizing, feel like you're a part of the book.
Yes, that's why I wanted, I really want people to really get out of it. And when they read these books, I want them to be a part of the book. They could be in this world, and I want them to talk like these people are real. These characters are real. They go through real life situations that you would go through in your everyday situation. And they have like the romantic scenes that you would want, even if you haven't had it. They're romantic ideas that you would want in your life, that you would just dream that, like, you would say, like, oh, wow, if somebody did that for me, I could just melt, Yes. And it's so interesting. And then it's not, the characters never lag off in each of the series, because in each of the series, the characters, they always come back. It may not be in the first one. You may not see all the characters in the second one, but you'll see them coming back maybe in the fourth or in the fifth. And, it's just great how they all interact with each other.
Wow.
It's dynamic.
It's an honor. Great. It's an honor to have you back on here.
Thank you.
I want you to come back again and again, because just watching you grow throughout these years, we're talking almost 5, 6, or 7 years.
Yes.
And you've been creating dynamic books.
Right.
From that one book to it'll be in 3 books to 5 books, and you're still writing.
Yeah, thank you.
You are incredible.
Yes.
You are incredible.
Thank
everybody,
you very
Azerline
much.
Wilson.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you. And for everybody, actually, I'd love to thank you. I thank you all for coming on the show today. As a matter of fact, and all the viewers, you know what? We have another. We have another author that's coming up next week. His name is on the Fantasy Tree. His book's called The Fantasy Tree, children's book, but his name is Michael Hall, which you know. We're looking forward to Kimberly with the. We're looking forward to her in the future with Santa. Why did you come on Jesus' birthday? I had to put that out there because that's another incredible book. All right, but I tell you what, we're going to continue having fun. We're going to enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not big candles that spaghetti them O's. I'm so ready, how them pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just steal decoys like them duck hunters, runners, blowing whistles, making noise. It's official, tell them nizzles, I'm the dizzle, flow sizzle, flow shizzle. I'm off the hizzy, busy signal. I got that hustle muscle for that green like the for Rick. No, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down. Ain't nobody like me. Wrist so icy, colors like iced tea. Them diamonds get pricey. Got rich now, everybody so nice to me. I'm a whiz kid, Doogie Howser. Just like the game, snatch your dame, I'm Bowser. Spit hot flames, stay sagging in my trousers. Even on church day, the preacher like no way. And Miss Jenkins like, Lord, take them demons away. In my headphones, Jesus walks by Kanye. Mackin' to a chickie, tryna get some kissy kissy. You can nibble on my neck, but no hickey. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Baby, I'm the bomb diggy. Girls be begging for another chance like I'm Biggie. I run the city, call me P. Diddy. My life's Whoopi Goldberg, it ain't nothing pretty. It's been a long time coming, this ain't happened quickly. Overnight, try more like over and over until the morning light. Steady trying to get it right.